right. Now I realized, Travis, the first time, or actually while I was editing the first episode, I realized that people can't actually see our names at the bottom. So Timothy Lindsay.
I'm Travis Pelton.
Yeah. I'm trying to point. I have to point to the right when I'm pointing to the. It's weird. Yeah. What should we talk about? Oh, well, okay. Time out. Before we talk about the preseason stuff, you watched the White Sox game, obviously.
That was a great game,
dude. So before we that was electric. I mean, I saw it last night. I didn't see the Kevin Costner intro, him walking onto the field. I saw it later on, on my phone. And It's actually been a while since I've seen Field of Dreams, but whoa. I am all for them recreating a movie scene for a sporting event. I think it's great.
That was a great time.
Oh my gosh.
There was not even a complaint out in Dyersville either. Everybody had a blast.
I think I saw, one of my other friends, one of my other buddies was there. And he was sitting on the third base side. And I learned that it was kind of like winning the lottery for people, especially out in Iowa, for getting the tickets. I mean, I heard John Smoltz and Joe Buck talking about it, and the field was ready to go. I mean, the players emerging from the corn, unbelievable. And just the Tim Anderson home run, I mean, to cap it off, was just electrifying. I mean,
yeah.
And that's for some reason, all sports do this, but just baseball always has a way. Baseball is not like football. Football is my favorite sport, but baseball always has a way of giving us the craziest endings, the perfect endings. Remember Derek Jeter's walk-off home run walk-off base hit in his last home game, or his last baseball game for the Yankees. I remember watching that live. I was like, dude, this is perfect. This is you could not have asked for a better ending to Derek Jeter's career. And
you can't script it better.
Yeah. And this Tim Anderson home run, I mean, just so I think it was Max Kellerman on First Take this morning talking about how, this is kind of an ode, White Sox Yankees, kind of remember the Black Sox scandal, obviously, Sox through the World Series or whatever. And Kellerman brought up about how Tim Anderson, an African-American shortstop, hitting a walk-off home run in Iowa. I mean, it was just perfect. It was unbelievable. And certainly baseball has a way, with historical significance. I don't know if it's ever going to catch football, the NFL. I hope it catches the NBA. I really do. I don't know if it'll ever catch the NBA or the NFL in terms of ratings or, just all that. But with the historical significance and it breaking the color barrier, with Jackie Robinson in sports, Tim Anderson hitting that home run, man, is just that's what sports does. It's an unbelievable story,
It brings a lot of people together.
Oh yeah. National pastime. I mean, you need it. You need baseball. You need it. So yeah, that was perfect.
Sure.
That was, seeing Tim, even just the replay or watching it live, just the crack of the bat. I think I could hear John Smoltz in the background, just kind of chuckling, oh, it was gone. And it was just oh, unbelievable, perfect game, perfect night. And it was packed and perfect. That's all I can say.
That was a game for the ages. I mean,
oh yeah,
it was just that good.
I think it was the most watched MLB game in 16 years, I believe.
I can believe that.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was the show. We're done. See you. Okay. So preseason.
That was the MLB show. Now we're on to NFL.
Oh yeah. Okay. So preseason.
Yeah.
You watch Mac Jones at all? I know you're watching baseball. Did you catch any of that?
I caught a little bit of it. He looked very, very good for his first preseason game. He looked very comfortable, I should say.
Yeah. So he was 13 of 19, 87 yards, and he had 5 drives. Now, 19 passing attempts is kind of a lot for obviously he's a young guy. They're trying to get him warmed up. So it's kind of hard to look at, okay, well, what are we supposed to take away from this? Well, he didn't look afraid. he Mac Jones is not Tom Brady. For the people who are watching this, I'm not saying Mac Jones is Tom Brady, but he was very comfortable and his throwing motion. I don't know, I think he's more mobile than Tom. I know that. And he was just his throwing motion was so fluid. I know there were a lot of check downs and kind of shorter passes, but he didn't miss a ton. There's obviously a lot to work on, but yeah, I knew this was the guy that Belichick wanted in the
He's a
draft.
guy that fits into their system very well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, the Patriots, even with Tom, what they would do again, Tom Brady is a great quarterback. We all know. And he's not even that mobile. And that's what's so great about him is he's insane without even having to be mobile. And they're able to run the ball, play great defense. And Tom Brady, all he had to do was game manage, not screw the game up, and they were going to win. And that's Mac Jones. Mac Jones is obviously, like I just said, more mobile. So again, you have Sony Michel, James White, Damian Harris. You have all your defensive starters back, and who knows what's going to happen with Cam. Cam looked okay. I saw, Chase Young rocked him on, whatever the first drive or in the first quarter. There's always been something off, I think, with Cam Newton's throwing. He was electric in Carolina, we all know. But I think it's obvious, it's been clear, like Cam Newton's not the long-term guy. This could be Cam Newton's last year in New England. I think they only signed him to a one-year deal. They re-signed him to a one-year deal. And Mac Jones is clearly the guy, I think. And I don't know, he certainly looked legit, but I mean, I don't know how long it's going to be until, he takes the starting job from Cam. What do you think?
I think it's going to be almost like any of the quarterback competitions. It's going to take one little slip for one of the veterans, and they'll realize, oh, hey, this rookie is actually doing very well for us. And this is a great showing from Mac Jones to start off the season. I mean, now he's got to prove it even more with doing it again and again.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's a great first step for him. And it's going to be something that a lot of these rookie quarterbacks have to see and have to do themselves. I mean,
oh yeah,
because in a case like Mac Jones, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, they're all behind people right now, but they can see, hey, one slip up from one of these veterans and it could be my turn. And
oh yeah,
that's all it takes.
yeah. Did you I guess transition to another quarterback? Did you see any of the catching highlights of the Steelers-Eagles game?
Dwayne Haskins looked like a beast last night.
So so for those that don't know, my older brother graduated from Ohio State, so I've seen a lot of Ohio State football over the last few years. And when Dwayne Haskins was there, like Ohio State is always a college football playoff contender. They're always very good. And Dwayne Haskins was only there for 1 year, but I think he set, quite a ton of passing records. I'm sure he beat a couple of Drew Brees' passing records. But his playmaking ability has always been there. It's always been there. It's just, the maturity issues we saw in Washington. But he's pretty blessed. He's pretty lucky to be in this situation in Pittsburgh. Number one, there is no better place. Well, yeah, there's no better place to go to, I think, if you have maturity issues than Pittsburgh, because Mike Tomlin is going to set you right. Like Mike Tomlin is going to help you out. Yep. He's going to coach you. He's going to challenge you. He's a tough guy, future Hall of Famer. And learning behind Big Ben, a future Hall of Famer. That's, Mason Rudolph is not, there's Mason Rudolph, there's Josh Dobbs in there as well. Those guys are just kind of backups, placeholders. Dwayne Haskins is young. I think he's the guy of the future. I think he was 16 of 22 for 160 something yards and a touchdown or two. Very good, very mobile. And again, I'm telling you, Mike Tomlin, he's the perfect coach to be with if you have character issues, because he'll help you, he'll challenge you. And that's not really, it's not a quarterback competition, but who knows how long Big Ben, I mean, could it be his last year? Possibly. But Dwayne Haskins certainly looked the part, and I think he's the guy of the future. I believe it.
I definitely believe that too. I think, with this system that Mike Tomlin's putting in place, following Big Ben and learning from Big Ben, I mean,
Hmm.
that's a great setup for him. And then just getting all those tips, working in the system, and having that receiving core, that young receiving core as well.
Hmm.
Like you said, we don't know how long Ben's got for
Yeah.
his career. It could
Hmm.
be 1 year, it could be 3 more years. I mean, we don't know yet, but these receivers are still very young too.
Oh yeah.
That's what you also have to think about. So he's only building with them, and so it's just going to help him grow for the future. I
You a fan of
think.
the TikTok dances?
I'm not the biggest fan, but you know what? I I'll leave it where if it's not hurting the team, I don't care. But
Yeah.
if it's gonna bring too much attention away from you doing your job, or from you just if it's gonna bring too much attention away from anything, then you just gotta stop it. But if it's not gonna bring too much attention away from anything, I
Hmm.
it doesn't hurt me, so I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Hmm.
I'm not gonna be the one to criticize it, I should say.
Hmm. Are you so I guess kind of switching gears, what are you looking for in Justin Fields' debut? Is it tomorrow? Tomorrow against the Miami
Tomorrow.
Dolphins?
Yep.
Okay. What are you looking for? Oh, and,
Uh
and and just so everyone knows, I think our this podcast right here is an example of showing how Packers fans and Bears fans can coexist. I think that is, I mean, how many podcasts are there out there that have a Packers fan and a Bears fan? I not a lot. So I just wanted to make that point. Like you can, we can I know people are going to disagree. People like us can coexist because it's football. I don't know. It's hard to say how or why we can coexist, but it's just the way it goes.
we both love the game.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
basically what it comes down to. We're not the
yeah.
ones playing in the game, but we'll definitely cheer for our teams, and we'll definitely hate each other the week that they play, but
Oh
or
yeah,
the 2
100%.
weeks that they
Yeah,
play. But
yeah. Yeah,
but
yeah.
you know what? It's all in a matter of let's watch some good football and let's
Hmm.
enjoy the season.
Oh
That's
yeah.
more or less what this comes down to. We
Hmm.
can have our
Yep.
little friendly banters, and
Hmm.
that's what makes it so great. We can
Yeah.
we can have our friendly banters back and
Hmm.
forth, but hey, what it comes down to is you've definitely had the upper hand over the years, though.
Okay.
So
Okay. So
made it a lot easier.
before you say your thing about Justin Fields, I want to make this clear. As a Packer fan, we've been blessed. We've had two Hall of Fame quarterbacks back to back. We've won a couple Super Bowls. Of course, we should have more, whatever. Hopefully, we get one more. I believe Justin Fields, they obviously, as a lot of Bears fans believe, I do too. And as a Packers fan, I'm saying this. They certainly got the right guy. I think Justin Fields has the ability, before you say your piece, again, I've seen Aaron Rodgers time after time, and sometimes most of the time he's obviously had great receivers, Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, Greg Jennings, James Jones, all those guys, down driver. But some games, like the 2018 season when they went 6-9-1, offense wasn't always healthy. They were kind of sputtering. But there were some games like against the Niners on Monday night, you kind of had to bring them back a couple times. Like we've seen time and time again, Aaron Rodgers sometimes find ways to put the team on his back when players are hurt, players are out. He is one of those few transcendent players that can change the complexion of a team and the team's season. Justin
Absolutely.
Fields, I believe, is that. I think Justin Fields, I don't know if he'll be Aaron Rodgers. His body type, though, just looking at the physicals, big dude, strong arm, mobile. I mean, that's what you need. I mean, the Bears, when was the last time they had that? I mean, Jim McMahon. I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, I'm trying to think, was
Cutler.
Cutler
I
that?
mean, you could say
Oh,
Cutler.
Trubisky was mobile. He just was I don't know, like okay, he sucked, but like he I don't know how to say it. Like I'm just kind of looking at his physicals. Like was he tall? I mean, well, I
He
can't, I
was
don't know
tall.
his height.
He was tall.
Okay,
He just
he
his
didn't have
arm.
it. He didn't
Yeah,
have
he didn't
it.
have it. It
Yes,
it's hard to explain because
it.
he well he came out as an he came out as an accurate passer, right?
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah.
came into the league as known as an accurate passer. But the hard part was that he wasn't accurate all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what made a lot of people question his ability and everything else. Don't get me wrong, Mitch led us to two playoff appearances
Yeah.
in 3 years. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
granted, most of that was our defense. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to
Yeah.
dispute that, but
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to do part of the work at least. And so
He uh,
hey,
he did.
against the Eagles
Yeah.
for
Mm-hmm.
that double doink game, a lot of people forget that he drove the team down the field to
Oh
get into
yeah.
that field goal position. And
That throw
so,
to was it the throw to A-Rob was I
yep,
think that was the best throw of his career. I mean, in the
absolutely.
clutch, had to make it. He did, and it just it didn't doink their way. Um, sorry, I feel like I don't want to be rude while I'm like kind of smirking, but I whatever. It's just my
It happens. It's
yeah.
sports. It
I'm
happens.
trying not to. Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, but like, what do you think? Like, what are you hoping to see from him against? Because he's going to get. I mean, I think Nagy said he's going to get. He could play past halftime, probably. Certainly, maybe into the fourth. Who knows?
Yeah. So what I'm hoping to see is just his comfort level.
Hmm.
Now, there's going to be a few hiccups here and there. It's going to happen. He's a rookie quarterback in a new system with a new. Just everything is brand new to him.
Yeah,
And so what we have to see is his comfort level and the way that he can get the ball out.
yeah.
Because there's been times in the past where he has held on to the ball a little bit too long. And
Hmm.
so I just want to see that he can trust the reads and he can get the ball out. Now I know
Yeah,
he can scramble and he's got quick legs. I mean, the dude is fast.
yeah.
There's nothing going against that. So I know
Hmm.
he can run, but it's all in how he manages how many times he runs the throughout his time on the field, I should
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
So if he throws for 3 touchdowns and throws for 200 yards, I'll be ecstatic. Don't get me
Hmm.
wrong, but I primarily want to see how he does in his first actual NFL game. Even though it's preseason, it's still an NFL game, and you still have to see how he's doing with the system and how he feels within playing this first game, especially on Soldier Field. I
Yeah.
mean, first time with fans again
Hmm.
at Soldier Field. You just got to
Hmm.
check his comfort level and just make sure that we can feel comfortable with him being
How what was my question? Dalton. How many snaps or how long do you think Dalton's going to play?
there.
Or if he plays. No, he'll play probably,
He'll
right?
play. I think
Okay.
I think I heard Dalton is going to play. It's just a matter of how much. I I give him about 3 possessions.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
think
Yeah.
3, 4 possessions. Let him get a little bit comfortable into the
Hmm.
offense as well. I mean, you still have to think about that. If he's going to be your week one starter,
Yeah.
as of right now,
Hmm.
I mean, you still got to get him game reps and get him ready to play for week one as well. Now, I know there's 2 more preseason games, but he's still in a brand new offense with a brand new coordinator and everything else. He's just got to feel comfortable as well.
Would you say like when Dalton signed there, he was told that he would be the starter.
Yeah.
So say Nagy said like, okay, Justin, because okay, I'm on the side as just a football, dude, not as a Packers fan, as a football dude. I think they should start Fields ASAP. I think they should start him as soon as possible. Say they were to start him week one. Would you worry about like Dalton? I don't know. Like this might be a dumb question, but would you worry about him like being pissed, or like would you worry about him? I don't know.
I
Like
wouldn't worry about him being pissed, only because he kind of knows his role into what
he's a
he's
pro.
coming into right now, and he's a
Yeah.
pro. I mean,
Hmm.
he he expected to be a backup last year against Dak. I mean,
Hmm.
it, the unfortunate sequence of what happened to Dak last year is
Hmm.
just, I mean, it speaks for
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
But I mean, that got him a little bit more ready to come into
Hmm.
this situation for this year. But at the same time, what I feel is basically Dalton, if he gets benched, he'll be mad. I mean, I I I don't know if I could trust a guy that wouldn't be mad that he just got his starting spot taken over, but
Yeah. Hmm.
be mad for a few days or whatever. But then you got to be. It's also a job. You got to be professional in how you take it, and you also got to help the young guy because you also understand that this is the future quarterback for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
And so I feel like he's a pro and he understands the situation and he's going to do whatever he can to start, but then once he gets benched, he'll definitely help out in whatever way that he can.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. As a Packer fan, of course, I want him to throw 5 picks. Um, that's not going to happen, probably, because I do think I think he's going to be the dude for sure. What else? I mean, what other games? There's some games on, I believe it's Lions, Bills, Arizona, and the Cowboys.
And then Titans and Falcons.
Oh, Julio, the return. That's.
Yeah.
Do
I don't think
you?
Julio's going to play though.
You don't think he'll play?
I don't think he'll play.
You're probably right. You're probably right. I hope they have, I mean, something, some, video or something, like, because I know when Adrian Peterson came back to Minnesota as a member of Washington, they had some video. They all stood up and gave him applause. Hope they do that for Julio. Because that guy, I mean, certainly of the last decade, he's top 3, I think. You can make the case physically. I mean, that guy's a stud for sure. I mean, what are your, I guess when we're, what are your expectations, if any, for Atlanta? Like, I know they're not going to, like, they have Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is a good quarterback. I think you can make I think it's a very strong case. Matt Ryan's a top 10 quarterback, no question. On a good day, like, what do you think? Are they going to be terrible?
I don't think they'll be terrible. I don't think they're going to be good. I don't think,
Yeah.
but I don't think they're going to be terrible. The
Yeah.
hard part is that they've lost a lot of pieces that they built upon, and they're switching head coaches, which means that they have to transition to a whole new realm of, all right, who's leading and who's like, and all the playbooks that are going to be run and everything else. And then you lose Julio.
They need a running back. I mean, I know they have Mike Davis as their starting running back, right?
Yep.
So,
Mike Davis is starting running back, which is tough because he's also older and although he is a veteran, and he proved that he still got it in Carolina last year.
Yeah. So I was just thinking like, sorry, I interrupted you again. I keep doing that. That's going to be a habit on this show. I'm going to keep interrupting you. I just real quickly, I just kind of think it's interesting. Like Arthur Smith had Derrick Henry for a while in Tennessee. Like, he had that. Like, it's just going to be interesting to see how, if they translate running the ball with Mike Davis, who's not Derrick Henry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, you say your point.
No, I was just basically going to build upon the fact that, he is that veteran, that he understands the game, and he's going to try and help in whatever ways that he can. Now that offense is still dynamic. I mean, you still got Ridley, and you still got other young weapons.
You got Pitts, drafting Pitts.
Yeah.
I feel like it's only 2 guys. All they have is Kyle Pitts and Calvin Ridley.
Well, because before, I mean, we really looked at the fact that it was Ridley and Julio, and so you had that dynamic duo, and so you just basically looked at that and just went, wow, this is a stacked receiving core.
Yeah.
And now we're having to look at it as, all right, now who do we got? So they drafted Pitts, which was a great pickup for them, right? And then from there, you just
gotta fix the pass defense. Gotta fix the pass defense. I remember their pass defense was not great, especially Dan Quinn's a great defensive coach, but like, if you're a great defensive coach and your pass defense is bad, like, it's really bad, even with a even with a defensive coach, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know they addressed AJ Terrell, right? They drafted him out of Clemson last year, and I believe after he came off, I think he was dealing with COVID last year, if I'm not mistaken. I think after he came off the COVID list, I think he was pretty solid. But they got to focus on that side of the ball too. But I think, you know, I'm one of those people. I love focusing on like resumes, like because I want all players to get into the Hall of Fame. I just think it's really interesting looking at it. Like Matt Ryan's an MVP, former MVP. He's a 5-time Pro Bowler. He's top 10 in a lot of categories. I kind of just want to see him get a Super Bowl. I don't care, I guess, however he does it, just get that Super Bowl. And, you know, it's not, I would say the NFL is probably the easiest major, like it's the easiest sports league, pro sports league to make the Hall of Fame in. I think you can make the case. It's certainly easier than the MLB, you know, the basketball Hall of Fame, you know, like 5 Pro Bowls is kind of like the threshold for a lot of players. Like if you can cross that and get, well, he already has an MVP, which is a bonus. If you can get a Super Bowl championship in there, like Troy Aikman, when people think about Troy Aikman, okay, he made 5 Pro Bowls, but the reason he's in the Hall of Fame is because of the 3 Super Bowls. Like that's why. Like Troy Aikman, no one ever thinks about Troy Aikman as an all-time great, even though he's in the Hall of Fame. Like if you think about Hall of Fame quarterbacks, oh, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, you know, Brett Favre, Joe Montana, whatever, John Elway. Like you think about those guys. Don't think about Troy Aikman. You know, with Matt Ryan, I think Matt Ryan's kind of in that Troy Aikman realm where it's like, okay, well, 5 Pro Bowls. He was a good quarterback while he played, but he could never get that big game. Troy Aikman obviously got 3. So I'm just kind of hoping Matt Ryan can find a way, even as a backup somewhere, just get a Super Bowl, kind of cement his legacy as a Hall of Fame player. Because I think he's certainly, look, he's better than Eli Manning. And I think Eli Manning will probably get into the Hall of Fame. Don't know if it's probably not first ballot, but he'll get in there at some point. So I'm thinking,
I feel like he'll get in, especially for his rings.
Oh yeah, 100%. Beating Tom twice. Somehow going up to Green Bay twice, beating Brett Favre, beating Aaron Rodgers, heartbreak. We'll skip past that. But he was able. I mean, I keep saying, okay, he had 2 of the most clutch throws. You can make the case they were the 2 most clutch throws in Super Bowl history. The throw, obviously, we know the helmet catch, David Tyree. Yeah. The other one in 2011 to Mario Manningham on the sideline, I think was an unbelievable throw. I don't know how Eli did it, man. Like he wasn't terribly mobile, but he just found ways. I don't know. I mean, the throw to Manningham, I think there were 2 or 3 guys around him, and he just, you know, over the shoulder, you know, I mean, unbelievable. So Eli was really clutch. I know that. But that's super interesting, I think, to kind of look at players and, you know, seeing if they're Hall of Famers. You know, I know next up, Andre Johnson, Steve Smith. I think both those guys are Hall of Famers. I know Reggie Wayne's there. But the rule is you can only have 5 modern era players make it every year. So, you know, Andre Johnson, Steve Smith, there's Anquan Bolden, there's Reggie Wayne, Tony Romo's in it. I don't think Tony Romo's a Hall of Famer.
Gonna get in right away.
No, he'll be in the Cowboys Ring of Honor. I know that. I don't think he never got past. Did he ever make a championship game? I don't even think he did. Okay. And okay. I'll say this again. The Dez Bryant catch. I keep rambling here. By rule, the Dez Bryant catch was not a catch. Okay. Yes. Okay. It's a catch. He caught it. Okay. He caught it, but as he caught it, he was going to the ground. Like he was standing up, but he was stumbling to the ground while he was reaching for the pylon. And that's part of the process. When he reached out, he was still going to the ground. The ball popped out. That's part of the process. It was not a catch during that time. Of course, now it is. But I just think it's important. Like people keep freaking out. Oh, it was a catch. Yes, right now it was a catch. In that time, no, it was not a catch. I mean, am I fair? Am I fair in saying that?
You're fair in saying it.
Most Cowboy fans would probably like to, you know, shoot me right now. But it's true. Like it's just it's not as clear cut as the Calvin Johnson catch. Of course, I'm sure you know that very well.
Yeah, the Bears got very lucky with that one.
I see why they didn't like what he caught it and fell down and then like threw it up or whatever while he was laying on the ground.
I caught it. He took like 3 steps, and then he went to the ground. And then he dropped it as he was on the ground with the ball. So
Hmm.
basically, he caught it, took 2 or 3 steps, and just went to the ground. And then as soon as he got up, or was getting up, I should say, as soon as he was getting up, he just dropped the ball right on the, or he actually planted the ball on the ground.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so that's what I don't know.
I,
I
I
that might have been a point of emphasis for that year or something, but that was bad.
I like to think I don't really get confused. Like I'm confused by some of the calls, but I know what a catch is. I know what the process is. But like at a certain point, you just have to say, okay, the process is over. So like you know, say I catch the ball leaning on the sidelines, my knees are out of bounds. I have the ball and then I roll over and it falls out. You know, that should be a catch. Like Jordy Nelson. Oh, we can move on after this. In Washington, it was a game. I think it was a Sunday night game against then the Washington Redskins, and Aaron, moved out of the pocket, threw a dart to Jordy Nelson, and the ball. I think it was maybe Josh Norman, not sure. He caught it. His feet, like it was weird. He wasn't moving. Like his feet were planted on the ground. He didn't move afterwards. He caught it. Feet are planted, not moving. Didn't take another step. The Washington defender ripped the ball out, but the referee called touchdown. They ended up staying with it, touchdown. But it was just weird because not very often do you see a receiver catch the football with his 2 feet not leaving the ground. And he did, and in that split second, that like was the process. He caught it, didn't move off the ground, and it was a touchdown. So it was just, well, now that I think of it, I don't really know what the process is. I thought I did, but I don't. So it's weird. That's probably the weirdest thing about. Well, there are a lot of weird things about the NFL, but like, what is a catch? What is not a catch? It's confusing now.
One of the new weird things. I don't know how much you've seen about this, but the new taunting uh, penalty that they're making a point of emphasis on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
So I forget what game it was, but or no, I think it was like practice or something. But like there was some dude that looked at the receiver wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It was a defensive back that looked at a receiver wrong,
Yeah.
and the ref threw the flag
Oh,
and
are you
called
talking
a
about
fifteen-yard
the
penalty.
video that are you talking about the video that the NFL released about like this is what we can't do?
Yeah,
Like okay, it was what was it? Was it maybe Carolina and the Jets? Yeah, no, it was Paris Campbell who was getting up. It was Paris Campbell who was getting up, and then on the Colts. But no, I know what you're talking about. Um, yeah, that's. I'm actually one of those people. I do not love taunting. I get it. You're excited and you want to rub in the other team's face. Like, I know Tyreek Hill does this thing, like trying to avoid Mason Crosby, like the piece, when he runs into the end zone. Like, I don't know if I wouldn't call that necessarily taunting because he's running. Like, it's just like, I'm gone, like pieces. Like, that's how I kind of look at it. Like, he's not saying, okay, hey, I'm better than all of you guys. I'm faster. You suck, whatever. I don't think he's saying that. I think he's just saying, like, I'm gone. Boom. Whereas what Antoine Winfield did in the Super Bowl after they picked off Mahomes to kind of end the game, and he stood in his face and did that, right? Like, that is taunting because that's his move. And to do it right, like I don't like that. I have a problem with that. So I don't know. Like, I don't know. I mean, do you like taunting? There's got to be some
so
respect. There's got to be some respect.
there's got to be some respect. So here's what I'll say about it. So
Mm-hmm.
if a player reaches the ball out for a first down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say they get an exciting first down and they reach the ball out, that should not be taunting, right?
Yeah.
If a receiver makes a 50-50 ball catch and just goes nuts, that should not be taunting. They're going to
Mm-hmm.
call it taunting now because it's a point of emphasis, but it should not be taunting,
Yeah.
in my
Yeah.
opinion.
No,
And
I agree.
that's where it's going to draw the line. right there.
Hmm.
Now, if you stand over a person or throw the ball at somebody, yes, all right, I
Yeah.
understand. That'll be
Hmm.
taunting. But what I don't agree with for this, we'll have to see how it goes for the first few weeks,
Hmm.
is how extreme they take it
Hmm. Good point.
for the probably the first like 3 weeks into the regular season is what
Yeah.
we're gonna have. Because I mean that's gonna make or break some games too. You'd have to imagine that as well. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
15-yard penalty is what you also have to think about. That can take somebody right out of field goal range,
Oh
just
yeah.
right there.
Yeah. I remember, was it last year, 2 years ago, they were going to implement like I think this is a penalty now. You know how like the person, like the runner cannot lower their head? Like they would
Yeah.
call a 15-yard penalty on that. I remember they called it a bunch in the preseason and didn't end up calling it at all during the regular season or whatever. So yeah, I hope we see some of that in the preseason just to see like how like you said how close it is, or how how much they're going to be watching it. But I just, again, like the Antoine Winfield thing, if you do this right to their face, like I agree that's taunting, but like let's don't be so you know hasty to throw the flag. Like let just take it back. If it's excessive, like the Winfield thing, yeah, don't stand over him. Don't do that. Don't do the peace sign in front of his, like that kind of thing. If it's clear and obvious, throw the flag. But if it's not, because there's going to be stuff said to each other every single play. People are
Oh,
gonna
absolutely.
people are gonna say shit. I'm sure, like there's fun banter going back and forth. Like I know Aaron, when if he scrambles, him and like the opposing player will just kind of laugh at each other. Like it's fun. That's fun. But like if it's like that, if they throw a flag for that kind of stuff, that's it would be the no fun league, the NFL no fun league. So I hope they don't do that, but I understand why they're trying to fix it. So my hope is they start throwing flags for the Antoine Winfield stuff like they did. But if it's excessive, like if they start throwing flags for everything, it's gonna suck. It's gonna be
Yeah.
terrible.
I mean,
Um,
yeah.
what else? What else should we talk about?
Um, I
Again, for
mean,
those that are watching, this is a free balling show. So we're prepared. We watch stuff. We have statistics and stuff in our mind. We have the show in our mind. We don't have a talk sheet though, so we just kind of go with it. Um, Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays. Aaron Rodgers
those are back.
Tuesdays. That was like, it's great because it's like this is for those that kind of don't really believe it. Like this is who Aaron Rodgers is. Like people always used to think, Aaron Rodgers is kind of a D-bag. He doesn't really care about his team. He's not fun to be around. No, that's not true. Aaron has always been, his teammates love him. And that stuff that not Donald Driver, Jermichael Finley, who always, for some reason, has something up his ass because he's always saying something about Aaron Rodgers. That, or, Greg Jennings sometimes, or whatever. Like Aaron Rodgers has always been a great teammate. He's always been a great leader. Sure, every young player gets a little cocky. I'm sure Aaron was like that coming up from California to play with Green Bay, the old man, Brett Favre. And I'm sure there's like every player's like that. But Aaron, if you heard from his teammates, he's one of the coolest dudes to ever play and one of the greatest guys to be around. And I think you saw it last year on the Pat McAfee show. Like this is who Aaron Rodgers is as a person. It's hilarious. It's authentic. It's real. Because look, the great athletes are not going to go on First Take, or they're not going to go on, Undisputed or The Herd. Like Tom Brady has an interview each week on Mad Dog Sports. Aaron's on the Pat McAfee show. A lot of players have one radio interview a week. They meet with the media once a week. This is who Aaron Rodgers is. And it's fun because him and Pat and Ty and Connor and all the guys, the Pat McAfee show, they love to joke around. And it's gonna be great because, they're just gonna, trade jokes and stories. And they're gonna make fun of AJ Hawk, which is always hilarious. So it's gonna be
That's
great.
always a great time.
Oh yeah, 100%. So yeah, I'm excited. Does it start? Does it start this Tuesday?
I think it'll be if it was like last year. Well, I mean, we didn't have preseason last year,
Yeah.
but I
Hmm.
think I think it'll probably be the first regular season week.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I know they just announced it yesterday. So hopefully, yeah, you're probably right. I mean, if it's this Tuesday, great. If not, though, it's fine. We'll have to wait a little bit longer. But I'm happy it's back, and hopefully they keep this thing going for forever because it's great stuff. How much time we got? Um,
15 minutes, probably.
yeah, 15, 20 minutes. Um, what else? Okay, I'll
All
ask
right.
this question. I'll ask this question because again, Twitter helping me out. Um, by the way, Extra Point Pod on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, if you believe in Facebook now, whatever. Um, you start Jimmy Garoppolo or do you start Trey Lance?
I feel like it's going to be like any situation. I think Garoppolo is definitely going to get. He's definitely going to get the start. He's
Yeah,
got the experience. I
yeah.
mean, if you look at his record,
Mm-hmm.
probably shouldn't show as it does, but I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he wins ball games.
Oh yeah, I think he's 22-8. Let me check that. I think he's 22-8 as a starter in San Francisco. Let me check. I actually have that pulled up. Yep,
So
20. Yep,
you
22-8 is the starter.
you just have to look at that. I mean, he wins ball games, so it's not
It's
like he
weird.
hurts you.
It's weird. Yeah, like he's a winner, but if you look closely, stuff like what happened in the playoffs 2 years ago happens. You know, obviously we know why the Niners only threw the ball 9 times or whatever because the Green Bay Packers couldn't stop a nosebleed on defense. So I get that, but against the Vikings before the game in the divisional round, he threw one interception, almost threw a second one, and Shanahan's like, okay, we're just gonna run the ball the rest of the game. We're fine. And then you saw in the Super Bowl, he had a chance to win the game. He had Emmanuel Sanders open. He missed him. So you could say, okay, he's 22-8. But if you look closer, sometimes in the big moments, he doesn't always come through. Now, they have Kittle. Again, they have Ayuk. They have Samuel. They have a great running attack. Shanahan's a fantastic play caller. They have a great offensive line. I think they can help him, Garoppolo, kind of, find some of that 22-8 magic that he's trying to look for. But I think Trey Lance is inevitable. Thanos,
Yeah,
inevitable. Yeah, maybe they'll use him as kind of a power runner because he's a big guy and he did some of that at North Dakota State. But I think this will be like the Mac Jones thing. Like Trey Lance is going to flash it. He's going to show it in the preseason, and who knows how much longer Jimmy G has. Like if they win, like if they keep winning, they're going to keep Garoppolo in there. But say they start out 0-3 or 0-4, all right, it's time for Trey Lance. I think you're going to see Trey Lance early, like in the season, not preseason, just the regular season. I think the losses, and it's mostly on defense, is the thing. The loss of Robert Saleh, fantastic defensive coach who's now with the Jets. Sherman, veteran leader, gone. I think who knows what's going to happen with him. Hopefully everything's all right, with him. But he's gone from San Francisco, I think. They traded DeForest Buckner a couple of years ago.
yeah,
Nick Bosa is a great player. He's coming back from the ACL injury, so we'll see if he's 100%. I think he's supposed to be 100%, so we'll see what happens with that. You have Fred Warner, but I think without Richard Sherman, I think that's kind of I do think that's kind of the key. I think without Sherm on the DB in the DB room, I think they are not going to be as good. And I think the defense will not be as good either, even though they have Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, they have guys. But I think the loss of a great leader like Richard Sherman, like a great defensive coach in Saleh, Mike LaFleur, Matt LaFleur's brother was the passing game coordinator for the Niners, I believe,
yeah.
who's now the offensive coordinator for the Jets. It's just small things like that. I think that could hurt them. And, if they win, great. But they're in a tough division. And so if they start off 0-3 or whatever, could be tough.
Definitely could be.
So yeah, Trey Lance. Trey Lance will be there. I think what's an interesting question, Trey Lance, who gets there first, Trey Lance or Fields?
I think Fields has a better shot of getting there first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd
I
agree.
just, yeah, I definitely think that even though Lance, I don't know, I think they might come at the same time. To be honest,
Oh yeah, yeah.
it'll
I mean,
take it'll take a couple weeks, but like I said towards the beginning of the show, I mean, it's going to take for one little hiccup from one of the veteran QBs, and you know, then people are going to question everything. And they'll get one more chance. I mean,
mm-hmm.
speaking from the Bears' perspective, they'll get one more
Yeah,
chance,
yeah.
and then basically they make the switch from there. So
The Niners are probably more, but I don't want to offend the city of Chicago. I think the Niners are probably more better positioned to like win right now. I think.
oh,
Um,
absolutely.
so I think that's why I think Fields would probably go for or Fields would be there first. So that'll be an interesting, kind of thing to see see who gets there first. What else? What else we can talk about?
All right,
We
I
we need
pulled
to
up.
add more pop. By the way, before you go, we need to add more pop culture references. Like we need to add more comedy, or we need to add like just some sarcasm or something. But maybe we'll get that down the road. But anyway, do your thing.
So I pulled up the odds for most receiving yards for this year,
Uh huh.
and Devontae is not in the top five. How do you feel?
I see. I believe it. I like everyone know. Like I think the best duo in all of sports. Yes, I'm biased. Hello, I'm biased. I think the best duo in all of sports is Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. Right now in this moment, I believe it. I think certainly in the NFL, I think they've been together the longest. I know Matt Ryan and Julio were together, but now they're not anymore. Um, Rodgers and Devontae have been together since 2014. I think Devontae is the best route. Him or Keenan Allen, best route runner in the game. Um, everyone knows how great they are together. And also, I think combine that with the fact that, okay, you get Amari Rodgers in the draft from Clemson, Devin Funchess, they bring him back. Randall Cobb, obviously, I'm so happy he's back. You know, there's more receivers and, there's more playmakers now. So it's not just going to be Devontae Adams. They're 5 or 6 receivers deep. So Devontae might not have 120 catches or 18 touchdowns, whatever he had last year. I don't know if that'll happen. Probably not. Plus, people are going to shut him down. And then that'll open up avenues for Cobb, Lazard, MVS, Funches to get more balls. But again, they're going to be deadly together. It's just they won't be deadly, as much because everyone knows who's kind of getting the ball. It's kind of like Lamar Jackson, as a mobile quarterback. Like everyone knows, it's just everyone knows Lamar Jackson's gonna run it, or he's very mobile. It's just a matter of can you stop him, or can you stop him? It's the same thing with Devontae and Aaron. Like, can you stop them? So I understand
So,
why people think Devontae might not be the same, and that's how I feel going into fantasy. You have to be aware of players who've been hot, but also players who who might be getting cold.
yeah. So who do you think is going to get the most pass or the most receiving yards? You want me to
Give me a
list
minute.
off the top five?
Give me a minute. Ronnie Bass. No, that's Remember the Titans, and he was a quarterback, not a receiver. Give me.
You want me to give
No,
you the top five?
well, I don't want to say Tyreek Hill because he might take a screen. He might get a screen and go the distance. Not that is difficult, very difficult. Because Devontae is not really a speedster. Neither is DeAndre Hopkins. They're just pros. Tyreek Hill is a speedster, but I think they know he's going to get the ball. I don't know. You go. Who do you have someone in mind?
Stephon Diggs
He could
out in
be.
Buffalo.
He has the quarterback. The receiving core is not that. I mean, I know they have Cole Beasley, but not terribly deep. And he's a great runner. He's a great route runner. He's a speedster. He doesn't drop the
But they
ball.
throw the ball all the time.
Yeah, Josh Allen's going to rip it to him, and they love each other. I mean, that I think is probably the second best duo in the game, after Aaron and Devontae. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. I mean, Josh Allen is a gunslinger, and Stephon Diggs is one of the best. I can't believe I think last year was his first Pro Bowl appearance. I think, which is kind of crazy because he was very solid in Minnesota. So that's I'd watch out for that one too, because everyone knows Buffalo's going to throw the ball a lot until they figure out the running game. I mean, I think if they could figure out the running, like if they were to get like Adrian Peterson or a Todd Gurley, like just to get another veteran in there, a pro, they could go to the Super Bowl. I mean, everyone says they can. I think we all know Kansas City is the team to beat. But if they could fix that position, get the running back position going, who knows? Maybe we're saying Buffalo's going to the Super Bowl. You never know.
Yeah. All right. We'll finish on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Minus Derrick Henry, who has the most rushing yards?
Jackie Moon. No, that's basketball. Most rushing yards. Not Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara, I think, will be the best all-purpose player in the game. I believe that. Most rushing yards, though. Do you have these questions lined up? Like, do you have answers in front of you? Like, am I supposed to answer this correctly?
No, these are just different odds that I pulled up, and but I figured, Derrick Henry's going to get the ball 80 times a freaking game, so you just have to understand that with that offense, especially with how he's performed these last few years, when everybody's known that he's going to touch the ball 80 times a game. So, I mean, you got to play that in the factor. So,
Dalvin Cook. I saw Dalvin Cook firsthand rip the Green Bay Packers a new one. Most of it was kind of screens, but I believe it was October or November. It was, I think, week 7 or 8. I can't remember. Dalvin Cook torched the Packers, whether it's on screens, whether it's on the run. Dalvin Cook gets yards. He gets yards. His vision is strong. If the Minnesota Vikings offensive line is improved, which I think it is, Dalvin Cook is going to go off. McCaffrey is more of a Kamara to me in the sense that he'll be an all-purpose guy. I don't know if he'll have the most rushing yards. He's great everywhere. So I think Dalvin Cook is more of the runner than the screen. I mean, he obviously goes the distance with screens, but I think in terms of running, probably Dalvin Cook. That, again, it pains me to say this, and it probably pains you that I said that because he's a Minnesota Viking. But we'll just have to see what happens. But on that note, are we done? Can I go eat dinner? Just kidding. I don't know what I'm getting for dinner. I might get some Portillo's. Who knows? By the way, for those that don't know, who don't live in Chicago or Northwest Indiana or Southern Wisconsin or I think California, Portillo's is like, how do you describe Portillo's?
Hot dog and beef place. Solid
typical
burgers.
Chicago.
I mean,
Chicago. Yeah, typical place. So yeah, on that note, I guess I got to go. I guess we got to go. We're probably still thinking of an ending for the show. Like, do we have to have some kind of catchphrase? We did this last time. Like, do we need to have a catchphrase, or can we just go?
Nah, dude, it's dinner time.
Yeah, that's right. Catchphrases are stupid. They're overrated. Any weekend plans? Yeah. Okay. Before I let you go, any weekend plans?
Parents are coming out.
Yeah. All right.
Just had my birthday. 3 days
right.
ago?
I don't care. Yeah. Okay.
So we're gonna do a little late celebration and go to the casino and hit up the golf track. Yeah.
The casino, classic. Gonna hit it up. Gonna take down the house. Hopefully this doesn't end in like
or the house is gonna suck my money dry.
Hopefully this doesn't end up like, you leaving some guy on the roof as a prank, like in The Hangover. That could be horrible. That was a great movie. I think they ruined that. No. Okay, before we actually go, did they ruin the Hangover series by making 2 more?
by making the last one, I think
You think? Yeah, they kind of
they
push
try to
that.
play it out too long.
Yeah, the second one, I get the second one. Like I think people after the first one, they were like, yeah, oh, there's got to be a second one. This is hilarious. The second one was funny, going to a foreign country, meeting Ken Jeong, you know, a drug dealing monkey, all of it. It's good.
It definitely slipped out after that, though.
Yeah, yeah. So the third one, John Goodman being the bad guy, I don't really see it. And yeah, that's what was funny in that movie was Zach Galifianakis driving down the highway with a pet giraffe that he took from the zoo, and it decapitated on the expressway. So that was funny. But yeah, I guess, yeah. So just to sum up our entire conversation, to sum up the second episode, they ruined the Hangover series with the third movie. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right. On that note, I'll hang up. Godspeed. We'll get together Monday, Tuesday, sometime earlier in the week, and
sometime early next week.
Yeah, we'll discuss more movies and what series are great, others not so much. But Godspeed, brother. Next week. All right. See ya.